is Maurice Restivo. I'm a priest of the Congregation of St. Basil on the faculty at St. Joseph's College at the U of A. Well, since I'm a Catholic priest, it plays a pretty large role. I feel like it's a commitment that I make. And then because I preside at Eucharist, I say Mass, whatever the common terminology is. There's preparation involved in that, preparation for homilies and stuff, so you have to take the scripture to prayer and do some research, and so that, you know, it ends up being a pretty prominent thing. And so I teach courses in theology as well, so that also makes it a part of, you know, daily part of my life. No, not at all. I mean, I've experienced no discrimination whatsoever. Well, I mean, of course, here this is the Catholic college within the U of A, so the fact that I'm Catholic, I don't get flack because of that. But I'm in recovery, and 12-step recovery, and I go to meetings, and people generally know that I'm a priest, but I don't broadcast it. I've certainly never gotten any flack because of it. And, you know, and nobody says, why do you believe that stuff, or what do you know, they just, part of the whole thing in 12-step recovery is acceptance of the other person. Yeah, I do. I don't feel comfortable pushing it. I would never go to anybody else and say, this is what you ought to believe, this is what you ought to do, this is who you ought to be. So in that sense, I don't feel comfortable, because there's some people that would say that their Christianity, for example, means they have to proselytize, that they have to be out saying, you know, have you accepted Jesus as your Lord? And I would feel very, very uncomfortable with that. Mm-hmm. At the same time, if anybody is curious, anybody asks me a question, I'm very happy to respond. I'm very happy to discuss anything. I had been exposed to them, seen it on a pilgrimage a couple of times in 2009 and in 2011. And then in November of 2011, I did a delegation where you sign up, and it's a 2-week thing. If you go to the one in Palestine, it's a week in Jerusalem and a week in Hebron. Yeah. Then I did my training in the summer of 2012. It's a full month. And then I was on team in December 2013 and in August 2014. That's my preference of where I'd like to go. CPT is in 4 places permanently. They're in the Magdalena Medio region of Colombia. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of guerrilla activity, but it's multinationals that are coming in and taking people's farmlands that they've had for generations and generations, and planting palm oil trees. So people are being run off their land, they're poisoning their cattle, all kinds of stuff. And CPT is a witness to peace there, and accompaniment. We're in Iraqi Kurdistan, in the city of Salamaniye, and we're in, of all places, in Ontario, in Canada, working with Aboriginal rights. The CPTers live in Toronto, but they spend a lot of time up north, and I can't pronounce the names, they're very long names.
Of the reserves?
It's not in the reserves, but, well, there's some reserves, yeah, and then some around there, but it has to do with treaty rights, and right now there's a whole thing with fracking. There's gas and there's oil to be found there, and the government is not honoring its treaties because they want that. They want that, and the Aboriginals want their pristine lands for their traditional way of life, which includes fishing and hunting, and the fracking would ruin that. So it's a tragic situation. The old city of Hebron is under full Israeli military occupation, and they have a number of checkpoints in the city. They have 4 permanent checkpoints and then a number of what they call flying checkpoints where they'll just set one up. But with those permanent checkpoints, there are a lot of children that have to pass through and a lot of adults as well, but children have to pass through the checkpoint in order to go to school, because the checkpoint is between their house and their school. And by internationals being present, well, for one, we count the number of kids that go through, and we count how many get their backpacks searched. Traditionally, they've also been treated better when internationals were there observing by the border police or the army, whichever the case might be. Some of them are border police and some are army. Now, if that's the case, they would really be treated bad otherwise, because there's been, in the last year, there's been lots and lots and lots of tear gas, lots of rubber bullets.
To these children?
I'm talking about little kids in kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, that have to go through tear gas, and they start throwing up, and it's really tragic. And it's true, there are times when some of the kids throw stones. It's their reaction to, I don't condone that at all. It's their reaction to being under military occupation, and the reality is, though, that those stones are not going to hurt a soldier who's got a helmet and a Kevlar vest, a bulletproof vest on. They're not hurt by those, whereas the tear gas, and they're just volleys of tear gas, and it's sad. And so that's part of it, is the monitoring of the checkpoint. Sometimes you have to walk the kids to school, and then we turn in the number to the United Nations. And they keep track of how many go through the military checkpoints. Then another thing we do is just respond to emergencies if people call. Especially there's house demolitions, and so you don't do anything, but except what you do a lot. You take pictures, you write an article about it, a story that's sent out to to certain people that have access to our stuff, or that want to know, and just our presence with the Palestinians lets them know that somebody else knows and that somebody else cares, and that's huge. Even though, on the other hand, you could say we do nothing, because if the Israeli military decides they're going to demolish this house, they demolish that house, and the fact that we're there doesn't stop them from demolishing the house. But like I said to start with, the fact that we're there, for one, it's publicized, it becomes documented, and for two, it's solidarity with the people, and that's incredibly important to them. To me, it's very easy. You focus on social justice, peace, human rights. You focus on what you want to do, what you would like to accomplish, and then you look at how to do it. So, you don't always have your eye on the goal. You have to be real practical. But I think you do it by focusing on on who you want to be and what you would like to achieve, rather than what your beliefs are. And I'm happy to work alongside an atheist, a Jew, a Muslim, a Hindu, a fundamentalist Christian, a Catholic, an Anglican. It doesn't matter. If we're working together towards a certain goal, if we're working, we want to be a witness for peace. We want to build a house for Habitat for Humanity. We want to whatever. I think that by focusing on what you want to do, what kind of presence you want to be in the area, in the city, or whatever, then you can work with anyone. It's when you focus on, well, no, I can't because I'm different than you are. When you focus on your differences, when you focus on where you believe or what your backgrounds are, it's almost self-defeating. When you focus on where you want to go, I believe that there needs to be a house here for people who are homeless. So how can we help? How can we achieve this? And as long as all of us are working for that, well then, what does it matter? Mm-hmm. Whether we're Buddhist or atheist or anything. And compassion, I think that's the key. Or the Buddhist thing, the oneness. if we can see, or maybe the better word is a connectedness. If we can see the threads that connect us to each other, not only that you and I in this room, and not only us in this city, or this country, but us in this world. I mean, if you can really see that, how can you do evil towards that person? I mean, I think that's the key.